review and development.
What is development and what does it entail?
What is development? In relation to land, development means the carrying out of building, engineering, mining or other operations in, on, over or under land, the making of any material change in the use of land or buildings, or the subdivision of land.
Who engages in development?
Persons who engage in development are a developer or the person carrying out the construction-related activities. The developer will be the owner of the development. The developer may also be the one executing the construction.
Who is therefore considered to be a developer?
Any person who will be carrying out development projects.
Who are the different government agencies that participate in the developmental approval process?
They are the Planning Unit, which incorporates the Planning and Development Authority Board, the Environmental Health Department, and other line ministries or statutory agencies as may be necessary.
What are the responsibilities of the Physical Planning Unit in the development process?
The Physical Planning Unit is responsible for reviewing the developer's proposals, for advising the developers, and for controlling the development process. Controlling means when an application is approved by the Planning and Development Authority Board, the unit will ensure that the proposal approved will be carried out in the exact manner in which it was approved. Once an application for development has been submitted to the Physical Planning Unit by a developer and reviewed, it is then submitted to the Planning and Development Authority Board, who then makes decisions on proposals.
What is planning approval where a development is concerned?
It is the granting of permission to a developer to carry out a development. Act number 25 of 2002, the Physical Planning and Development Control Act, sets out the requirements for the developmental process in Grenada.
What is development in principle?
Section 23(1) of Act number 25 addresses the development in principle requirement. This section states, a person who intends to apply for permission to undertake the development of land may apply to the Physical Planning Unit for approval in principle of the proposed development before preparing detailed plans. The Planning and Development Authority Board may grant approval in principle, with or without conditions, until detailed plans have been submitted, or may refuse to grant approval in principle. Section 23(3) states, approval in principle granted under subsection 2 is not permission to commence development and the applicant must comply with the provisions of Section 22(1) before such permission can be granted. An application to the authority for permission to develop land must be made in triplicate on a form approved by the authority and must be accompanied by a map sufficient to identify the land to which it relates and such plans, drawings and other materials as the head considers necessary to describe the development which is the subject of the application. B. A notice in writing signed by the owner of the land to which the application relates, or an agent of the owner acknowledging that the owner has knowledge of and does not object to the making of the application. C. Any consent which the applicant is required by any law to obtain for or in connection with the development prior to applying for the permission of the authority. D. If required by regulations made under this Act or by a practice direction given by the head, the certificate of a licensed land surveyor, architect or engineer, as the case may be. And E. Evidence of payment of the prescribed fee. An approval in principle is an application submitted to the authority asking whether a proposed development will be allowed.